2025 was a pretty big year for Magic. There were 7 sets that came out this year, and with it, a lot of commanders. People have done some incredibly creative things, and I wanted to give you my list of top 3 commanders of 2025. This list is not based on power, this list is not based on anything other than just my personal preference, and I wanted to share that with you and maybe share a bit of deck tech. Some is very obvious, some you may not have seen before, and then at the end I'll share some deck lists below, and please feel free to share what were some of your favorite decks as well, and what were some of your favorite commanders of the year. Before we get started, my name is Akshay, you're watching Cozy Card Gamer. Without further ado, let's go ahead and get into my list. So my third commander of this year comes from a set that was pretty widely regarded as not super popular for the year, but I personally loved it. I'm a huge Spider-Man fan. I think my background's a bit blurry right now, but there's a lot of Spider-Man posters and stuff hanging around, so I particularly loved it. And so my number 3 commander of the year is Eddie Brock, and on the other side is Venom Lethal Protector. Eddie Brock is 1 and a black for a 3/3. He says when Eddie Brock enters, return target creature with mana value 1 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. And then for 3 and a Jund, you can transform Eddie Brock, which we get to the more exciting part, which is the part that I cast the most often, is Venom Lethal Protector. Venom reads, he's Menace Trample Haste, he is 6 mana for a 5/5. Whenever Venom attacks, you may sacrifice another creature. If you do, draw X cards, then you may put a permanent card with mana value X or less from your hand onto the battlefield, where X is the sacrificed creature's mana value. So there's a lot of super fun things we can do with that. Generally, this is a standard graveyard deck, but it's super fun because you get to draw a bunch of cards with it, and then you get to just cheat out big things for free. Some of the cooler things that I've liked doing with this deck is putting in things like Greater Good, which increases your draw engines, putting in things with a lot of deck triggers. There's a lot of Atsushi and Junji from the Kamigawa set. Those are some of the dragons that I really like that have very unique death triggers. And there's also some generic big stompies that I've included in my deck list that I absolutely love cheating out for free. There's just something about that value of you don't have to pay an obscene amount of mana for it. You just sack a creature and you get it back. As usual, to make use of the sacrifice creatures, you're filling your graveyard, so what better way than to reanimate some of them? So you have classic reanimator spells like Reanimate, of course, Necromancy, Animate Dead, all of your good stuff. You have a Living Death as kind of your finisher, if you will. Swap all the creatures if someone board wipes you. Some of the cons for the deck, I would say, are definitely, it's very commander reliant, right? So Venom, people will catch on to the shenanigans very quickly. He will be a removal target number 1, especially because he's Menace Trample Haste. A lot of times he will just get countered because people don't want him on the field. It's also pretty hard to set up because not only do you need Venom out on the field, but you need another creature out as well for you to sacrifice to Venom's effect. So a lot of the setup involves ramping and getting a creature out, but once you've ramped enough and gotten the creature out, and if your board relatively remains interaction free, you can really get some stuff going. Another big creature that I really like playing in this deck is Atali, of course. One of the quotes that I've heard, that my friends joke about that they've heard me say while I play this is, okay, I sack this creature and then I play an Atali Conqueror for free. And it's very fun to play. So yeah, for my number 3, I will say Venom. For number 2, let's balance it out. Since I picked a commander from what was the worst set of Magic this year, according to a lot of people, let's pick one from what a lot of people claim is the best set of Magic this year, and that's going to be from Tarkir Dragonstorm. The commander that I've chosen is Ureni, the Unwritten. Ureni is fantastic. She is a dragon. She costs 4, a green, and a blue, and a red. She's a 7/7. She's Flying Trample, Spirit Dragon. Whenever Ureni enters or attacks, look at the top 8 cards of your library. You may put a dragon creature card from among them onto the battlefield. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. Again, fantastic. A theme that you will notice in a lot of my decks that I really like is cheating out creatures. Cheating something out, and Ureni especially is super fun because you get to cheat out big dragons. And who doesn't love big dragons? The fun part about it to me is you kind of don't know what you're going to get. So you could end up top decking something pretty insane, so I've put in a lot of gas into this deck, or you could kind of whiff and get something that's not so great, but it's still a dragon, so at the end of the day, is there really a loss? One of my favorite dragons in this is Terror of the Peaks. Terror of the Peaks, obviously when a dragon comes in, you can deal damage equal to its power to people. Miram is in there to copy some. My list is filled with things like Old Gnawbone, which is pretty disgusting. If I hit that, it usually goes away. I have a Tarka. I have things that give them double strike. I have things that give me extra combats. It's a fantastic deck. This is definitely one of my stronger decks. I just upgraded the precon that Ureni came with, the Teamer Roar precon, I believe. Swapped out Eshki. I swapped out Eshki for the commander and made Ureni the commander, and added some more gas in there, some ramp spells, and boom boom. This deck does an insane amount of work. My friends definitely fear it. They know what to expect when it's coming out, and in general, it's just one of the decks that have really gotten me into Magic the Gathering this year, and I absolutely love playing it. So yeah, for number 2, we have Ureni of the Unwritten. I wanted to give some honorable mentions before I got to my number 1 deck of the year. I'm a huge fan of the Aristocrat strategy, so Sephiroth is an honorable mention here for sure. I put him in an existing deck that I already had, my Elenda deck, which is fantastic. Also Vivi, I pulled a Vivi, and yeah, she is banned in Standard for a reason. I really like playing her, but it is definitely a lot. Another shout out that I wanted to give was to Hearthhull. This deck almost made it to my number 1 deck of the year. It was fantastic. It introduced me to landfall as a strategy, and I love landfall and land stacking and lands matter. I've realized that as time goes on, I really have a lot of landfall decks, and honestly, it's a strategy that I find is pretty fantastic, and I really enjoy playing it. Another honorable shout out to Miles Morales. Miles Morales is my absolute favorite Spider-Man, and that deck I built is my first deck I actually built where I had enough of a collection that I was able to build it with mostly cards that I already had rather than ordering new ones, and it was awesome. It's the deck that I've tuned the most, and honestly, I enjoy playing almost as much as my Venom deck, but I just enjoy Venom slightly more. I tuned that one a bit more, and it performs a bit more. Miles is a bit on the weaker side. I absolutely love tweaking it and tuning it. I think one day it's going to be quite strong. All that being said, my favorite commander of 2025 is Toph, the first Metal Bender. I know Avatar set got a lot of love. People really liked it. I think Azula is currently in the EDHREC top 100 already, and it's the newest set that came out, which is pretty ridiculous. And I've seen some Azula decks go off, but Toph, hey, Toph is no slouch. Toph is awesome. Toph is 1 in Anaya. She's a legendary creature, human warrior ally, 3/3, which says non-token artifacts you control are lands in addition to their other types. They don't gain the ability to tap for mana. At the beginning of your end step, you Earthbend 2. Earthbend's a new mechanic that they introduced in the Avatar set, which reads, target land you control becomes a 0/0 creature with haste. That's still a land. Put 2 +1/+1 counters on it. When it dies or is exiled, return it to the battlefield tapped. Now, this card is disgusting. I think Earthbend as a mechanic in general is pretty fun to play with, and then when your artifacts become lands, it gets insane. I think a lot of us have seen the tech that people have with, for example, Mindslaver, where you can infinitely Earthbend it and then keep taking other people's turns as you exile it, because if you exile it, it just comes back tapped. I don't have that in my deck. I don't personally like to run Mindslaver, but the disgusting one that I have that is a game ender is Portal to Phyrexia. You put down Portal to Phyrexia, you take people's creatures, you sack it at the end to make it come back after you Earthbend it. Other fun tricks that you can do is make Toph herself into a metal lady with Liquid Metal Torque or Mycosynth Lattice. You make Toph into an artifact, and then at your end step you can Earthbend Toph because she is a land. You can also leverage a lot of the landfall triggers with artifacts, so you can play some cheap artifacts, play a Horn of Greed, and then every time you play a cheap artifact, you get to draw a card. There's some other landfall triggers there that you can leverage, Rampaging Baloths, ton of them. I mean, there's so many landfall triggers, and you can kind of build it however you want. You can go wide with it with the Scoot Swarm strategy, which is the way I chose to do it with Rampaging Baloths and Scoot Swarm. You can go super tall. There's a bunch of Hydras and Cats that you can put in there that go super tall, but it's a super fun deck. I really leaned into the landfall strategy. I know there's a bunch of other ways that you can do it with burn, and you can try to go with extra +1/+1 counters, which I have some of that synergy here, but like I mentioned when I was doing my honorable shout out for Hearthhull, Landfall is just such a fun strategy for me. Lands go burr. I mean, you just play a land on every single turn and you feel like you get to play the game and you get to do something, and I love that feeling. So yeah, for all those reasons, I'll say Toth the First Metalbender is my favorite commander of 2025. That wraps up my 2025. If you stuck around till the end of the video, thank you so much for watching here. Please show the channel some love if you like it. I just started, so if you have stuck around to the very end, now you know. I appreciate you watching. Again, my name is Akshay, this is Cozy Card Gamer, and I will see you all in the next one.